On January 26, 1950, a brand new republic was born. And like any new nation, India had a story to tell. But how do you tell that story to the whole world and to your own people? Well, the answer came on a tiny piece of paper, smaller than your thumb. So let's dive into this incredible first stamp set, a true manifesto in miniature. Here's what we're going to cover. We'll look at how India forged its new identity, we'll pinpoint the moment the republic was actually born, and then we'll meet the four little paper ambassadors that carry the message. After that, we'll decode their designs and finally unpack their amazing legacy. All right, so first things first. Imagine you're a new country. After centuries of someone else's rules and symbols, you have this huge task. You've got to figure out who you are, what you stand for, and how to tell everybody. It's a monumental challenge. So really, that's the big question, isn't it? It's about so much more than just politics. It's about creating a shared vision. For the first time, the mail wasn't going to have a British king or queen on it. So, what do you put there instead? What image truly represents the new India? And the answer, believe it or not, came in these small, gummed pieces of paper. They became these incredibly powerful tools, these paper ambassadors. Just think, they would travel from the tiniest village post office to the most distant foreign capital, literally carrying the ideals of the new Indian Republic with them. Now, it's really crucial to get this next part. Becoming a republic didn't happen overnight on Independence Day. Nope. The journey from being free to becoming a fully sovereign state, that took almost 3 years of really intense work. Okay, take a look at this timeline. Back in 47, India gains independence, but it's what's known as a dominion. That means it was self-governing, but still kinda technically under the British crown. The first stamps from that time even said Jai Hind, victory to India. It wasn't until 1950, when the new constitution kicked in, that India truly became a republic. So what's the real difference? Well, this slide nails it. As a dominion, the head of state was still, on paper, the British king. But as a republic, that power shifted. India now had its own elected president. This was it, the final formal break from the colonial past, and the stamps had to shout it from the rooftops. And so, on that historic day, the government released a very special set of 4 stamps. You gotta understand, these weren't just for paying postage. They were a carefully curated vision for the nation's future, designed to be symbolic and easy for everyone to understand. Now, here's a little piece of trivia that I just love. The agency that designed these stamps was a big deal at the time, D.J. Keymer & Co. And working there as a junior designer was a young man who would one day become a legend of world cinema, Satyajit Ray. Just incredible. So here they are, the Fantastic Four, each one with a different value, a different color, and a different job to do. But most importantly, each one represented a core theme, a pillar of the new republic: nationhood, agriculture, industry, and education. All right, now for the fun part. Let's get our magnifying glasses out, because the real genius here is in the details. You'll notice a common thread in all 4 stamps: a young boy and a young girl. They're there to symbolize the future generations, the ones who would inherit and build this new nation. First up, we have the 2 Anna stamp. This was the workhorse, the everyday stamp for letters sent within India, and its whole vibe was about celebrating the birth of the nation. So what are we actually looking at? We see the 2 children watching this grand procession with flags and trumpets. Now remember, the trauma of partition was still very fresh. So this image was sending a powerful message of unity, of joyful celebration, and crucially, of an orderly, peaceful start to a new era. Next, we have the 4 Anna stamp. And this one focused on the absolute backbone of the Indian economy: agriculture. The heroes of this stamp are simple: an ear of grain and a traditional plow. But look how they're presented, against this almost cosmic, star-spangled background. It elevates them to the status of national icons. The message was crystal clear: India's future, its very success, is rooted in its soil and its farmers. Now, the 12 Anna stamp was for foreign airmail, so this one was carrying a message to the rest of the world. And that message was all about economic independence and self-reliance. And at the center of it all is the charkha, the spinning wheel. You just can't get more symbolic than that. It was the ultimate icon of Gandhi's Swadeshi movement. By putting this on a letter going abroad, along with the hand-spun khadi cloth behind it, India was proudly declaring, "We are breaking the old economic chains. Our future is in our own hands." And finally, we get to the 3.5 Anna stamp for foreign letters. And honestly, this one might be the most fascinating of the bunch. It's about education, sure, but it's also about the moral soul of the new nation. You see the quill and the ink pot? Classic symbols of learning. But look really closely at the text in the background. That's not some government slogan. It's the first line of Raghupati Raghav Rajaram, Mahatma Gandhi's favorite hymn. What a statement! It was saying that this new republic was being built on a moral and spiritual foundation, inspired by his ideals.
But wait a minute, this probably has you wondering, right? We all know India's national motto, Satyameva Jayate, or Truth Alone Triumphs. So if these are the first Republic Day stamps, why isn't it on any of them?
And here is the definitive answer. The motto was officially adopted on that exact day, January 26, 1950, as part of the new state emblem. But it just didn't appear on this particular commemorative series. This set was all about social themes. The motto would show up later on other stamps and on currency, but not on these first four. So let's step back and look at all four of these together. What do these little pieces of paper really tell us today? What's their lasting legacy? Well, they're a complete manifesto. And think about this. Instead of putting a politician or a ruler on the stamps, which is so common, they chose these big democratic ideas. They focused on the future, putting children at the very heart of the story. They defined the nation by its core pillars: unity, its land, its industry, and its knowledge. And with those three simple words, Republic of India, they announced a brand new, sovereign identity to the entire world. And that leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? In our world of emails and instant messages, these stamps can feel like relics from another time. But what they did, telling a huge story in a tiny space, is still so vital. It really makes you wonder, what are the small, everyday objects of our time? What are the miniature manifestos today that are telling our biggest stories to the world?